Hello, this is Clint Locklear from the Farmer's Grove at the Farmer's Grove. Just showing a technique that we use. We plant cover crops in the fall, which grow up in the spring. We cut those down, use like the one straw revolution style, where we overseed, then cut it down. And then that grows all summer, which gives us all this biomass that you see beside me, which is what that bed in front of me I just showed looked like. And we're feeding the soil, and we're shading and nursing the seeds along so they can put the tillage radishes and the clovers and the vetch and the oats and the winter wheat so they can get established up through here. Now I'm using a scythe. Being from the south, may not be saying that exactly right, but it's like the Grim Reaper tool there. And it's only taken me probably about 30 minutes to do this whole bed. And this whole bed, I mean, you can look at the biomass that we grew this year to put around these plants. Freaking awesome. But it's taken me about 40 minutes probably to do it. Work up a little sweat, just consider it, it's like your CrossFit of doing it. I'm doing one bed a day. You can look up through here, going all the way up the slope, that I'm doing one bed a day. It's not taxing me that much whatsoever. Now, when you're always think about design, what's going on. This is a propagated, grafted pawpaw tree that I thought was dead, and it started coming back up. Now I didn't realize that when I started chopping and dropping, so I made like a little roof for shade because that little booger will get sunburnt. But once the pawpaw trees get up about 4 or 5 feet like this one, you don't have to worry about it as much. And I'm leaving pieces of this cover crop in place to shade other shade loving plants like this pawpaw, because the western side is going to be at that angle and it'll shade that at the end of the day. But if you want to build your soil, this is a relatively cheap way to go with a whole lot less energy than trying to cover this with wood chips. Because I can tell you, I've done over 100 loads of wood chips and you can't hardly tell it. So when you start going scale, you better start growing your own mulch and cutting it down, or you're going to work yourself to death to the point where you're not going to want to have anything to do with permaculture again. Chopping and dropping, we've been getting a lot of rain, so there's a lot of moisture in the ground. If this would have been dry, I wouldn't have done it. But it's also the time of the year, being middle late August, that I need to get my tillage radishes, because that puts about 1,500 pounds of organic matter in the soil per acre. And there's over an acre of these beds, not even counting the rows. Over an acre of the beds, so it's like 1,500 pounds of organic matter from those tillage radishes, and the worms absolutely love them. And then all the other cover crops. So don't be afraid to go peasant and use the scythe to chop and drop, because the structure of the soil in just 2 years has changed dramatically to where I have a lot of hope for the future for the Farmer's Grove.